Yeah. No, it's interesting, you know. And I'm sure like it's actually sometimes interesting. I find that at least for me, I don't know about everyone else, but like once you learn the history of what you're going into,
Mm.
it kind of makes you a bit more into it because there's like a story
Funny,
and you
yeah,
feel like you're part of that story as well.
yeah. And funny enough, like I actually wanted to be a history major before I decided to go like the medicine route.
Really.
I did. I love history. I loved I'll never forget, I think her name was Miss Shams. She was my history teacher in high school, and I just loved that class, the way she taught history, and like this all the stuff that we learned about. But like I guess what resonated with me the most in that class is I was so used to listening to history, lectures, I guess you can call them, in middle school and early high school in um non-Muslim schools. And we were using these like just public standard textbooks that were just sounded so biased, so biased.
Yeah.
And the only small section that they talked about Muslims was a biased information that made us sound really bad.
Really.
And so when I got to IFS, which is a private Islamic school,
Yeah,
I went
I
to,
know, I know, I know that. Yeah.
yes, I started there as a junior. And then in my senior year, I had Miss Shams. And
Okay.
in Miss Shams' class was the history class, and it just resonated with me so much. Like all this unbiased information that we were learning that was actually really interesting, really cool. Coincidentally, I started playing a video game called Battlefield 1. And Battlefield 1 has a story mode that focused on World War One history gameplay. And I just loved it. I loved it. And through that video game and through classes with Miss Shams, I just took on a whole new appreciation for history. So now we're kind of like in the period table, right? Periodic table, I guess you can say, like a history timeline. So now going into college, I'm like, should I major in history? I love history. I'm starting to do my own, research on history, learning about what happened in the past and stuff. And then unfortunately, I realized that there's not that much money in history,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately. And that's when I decided that I will continue to learn about history, but not just not as a job, more as a side hobby.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I honestly had no idea. That was pretty cool that you went through like that story of getting and attaining that love for history.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, obviously, I didn't have necessarily like a teacher that taught me like Islamic history per se, but like
yeah,
I was lucky enough to read books and get
nice.
information through that, I would say.
I was gonna say, like, that's probably the next step because I'll be the first to admit it was a rare gem that I got to be in that class.
Yeah,
I would say if not, and for anybody listening out there, if you want to learn about history, the first way to do so is to pick up like a book, but not just any book. Like make sure it's from a trusted source. Like
yeah, 100%.
I don't know if darussalam.com, like if you guys want to check out darussalam.com, they have some really nice books there. I don't know if they have any history books. I'm sure they do. Um, that's in my opinion at least. I can vouch for that website, you know.
I have read funny enough some of their books actually.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
there you go. Do you approve?
I would say so. Like, I mean, there was, I guess, like a small mistake which I found were real weird. Like, it wasn't even a
Wait, there
history.
was a small mistake I found too. Maybe it's the same one. What did you find?
So it had the word jihad in there, right? And it
Okay.
translated there wrong. And I was surprised. I was like, how do you translate?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
will say right off the bat, I will say right off the bat to give the books the benefit of the doubt. And the
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because I think that a good amount of these books are first written in Arabic. So
Oh,
the
really?
original author is Arabic.
Okay.
And what happens is the books that we get are in English, so they're translated to
Translation.
the best of the ability.
Yeah.
And I guess I would say like take it with a grain of salt when you read books in general, not just from Dar es Salaam. The mistake that I found was, you know how it says La ilaha illallah?
Yeah.
the translation that the book read was, "There is no God worthy of worship except Allah." But that's a problem because it should be the way that they word it is, "There is no God worthy of worship." I feel like in a sense that's kind of saying there is no other God worthy of worship, like as in like there's other gods. And I just think astaghfirullah al-azim, like that's not how it should be. It should be there is no true God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because all of the other people, any other, astaghfirullah al-azim, God or deity that other people claim there is, it's untrue. It is a fallacy.
Yeah.
So I feel like the right translation, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, and I know that there's other shuyukh that know better than me, but I feel like the true translation should read, there is no true God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You got to be very careful with this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, 100%. But yeah, you do have to be mindful, I guess, of the words you say. And like, of
Yeah,
course, with something like that, it's even you have to be even more mindful.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like aside from that, like translation mistake, I would say for the most part, I would say like they were pretty good. I would say, you know what I mean?
So yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They have some really nice books. I've read a couple books from there that are really nice, so I highly recommend.
Yeah. Which books have you read, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll make note of two of them. They were both similar. They had to do with the health of a Muslim, and how a Muslim, like what a Muslim should do health wise in terms of eating, therapeutic stuff such as hijama, and various stuff like that in accordance to the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Islam as well. Make sure to say sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I
Thanks
made the
for
same
reminding
mistake
me.
too. Yeah, Habibi, of course, I got you, man. Because I make the same mistake too. Like, we have to make sure that when someone says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we repeat
Yeah,
sallallahu alaihi
no,
wasallam.
it's true.
Which is like, I need to improve on too, like I said.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying, yeah, the two books, I can't remember their names, but they have to do with, I'm sure if you just say, if you search up health in Dar es Salaam, you'll find it. They were really nice books.
Yeah.
And they have some nice like imagery too and whatnot,
Okay.
so it's really cool.
Really.
Yeah. What have you read down there?
For Dar es Salaam, I read like three books so far that I can remember. There probably were more, but three books that I can remember specifically. One of them was a Khalid bin Walid book.
Oh, okay.
The other one was a Umar bin al-Khattab book. And then
Oh,
the third
wait,
one,
wait, about them or written
yeah,
by
like
them?
about them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
makes more sense.
And then the third one was just basically like heroes of Islam, right? So basically like Sahabas that were alive during the time of the Prophet and how they helped spread Islam.
Nice. Nice,
So
nice.
those three books, I would say, especially I remember reading it as a kid, but then I reread it again like uh, a couple months back, and it was like, I never realized like you miss some details here and there
Yeah,
that
yeah,
can be
yeah,
like kind of eye-opening,
yeah.
you know. And I mean, another book that I read that I really liked. It's not from Darussalam though. I think it's like another company. I don't remember, but
Mhm.
it's called 1001 Inventions. I don't know if you've heard of that book.
Oh, I have not. 1001 inventions.
Yeah,
What is it about?
it's basically about like some of the
Inventions that Muslims made?
yeah, some like the inventions and the contributions that they made. And honestly, like reading that book, I was kind of like surprised because a lot of what it says is during the golden age of Islam, right?
Yeah,
And it was like, wow, like it made me realize like a lot of things. Like I was just surprised about like how they had some things back then that even we don't have today,
yeah.
successfully too, you know?
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I actually, like, for example, did you know that algebra was made by an Arab man?
Yeah, I knew
Algebra, al-jabra.
that. Yeah.
So stuff like that. That's really cool. And then the first college or university to ever open up was opened up, I believe, by a Muslim woman, which is really
Oh
cool.
yeah. I think some
And
college universities still like still accepting people today.
really,
Yeah, it's
that's
in
amazing.
Tunisia, I think, or in Morocco. I don't remember.
Morocco, I think. I was gonna say I think it's in Morocco. So the fact that you said Morocco is, it's definitely probably in
Yeah,
Morocco. But yeah.
no, I was actually funny enough. I was actually looking at it just to see like, what they teach and whatnot, right? And And, obviously they have Islamic like studies and whatnot, but they also have like other subjects as well, which I found like I was like, this is actually kind of cool and it looks nice too. I
Yeah,
never been there, but from like on Google it seemed nice.
yeah. I feel that. I mean, I kind of want to do my own research on that now because I heard about it in the past, but I just never like looked into it too much. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. No,
That's
I feel you.
definitely.
Like sometimes I have a habit of just diving into things a lot. Sometimes maybe a little too much.
Yeah. I mean, like for example, I'm careful about watching Netflix sometimes because like you've mentioned, like I delve into things and I delve into it deeply, and like that's how sometimes I am with shows. So like for example, there's a show that I just started today actually. I don't know about if you heard about him. It's his name is Jeffrey Dahmer, I think.
Oh yeah, it's
Jeffrey
popping.
Dahmer. Yeah, it's popping on Netflix. One of my coworkers, they told me about it, and they're like, "Oh, you should give it a watch." So I was doing some cleaning today, and I'm like, "Okay, let me pop up the first episode." And I'm like, "This is some crazy stuff. Like, what is this, man?" But like, I'm at the same time, what I'm trying to say is like, I'm careful sometimes because if I get too invested in a show, then it's hard to like stop watching it, and then it's like it takes up so much time and stuff, you know. But like when with your thing, when you look into stuff like, the masjid and stuff, that's different. That's like knowledge, you're
Yeah,
looking into knowledge. So that's good. You should continue looking into knowledge,
yeah.
you
No,
know.
that's true. Like I guess like it's like a difference between diving into something that that probably is not that beneficial for you and versus diving into something that is very beneficial for you.